Hi, I'm Anthony D. Mays, and I am a software engineer of 23 years, a YouTuber, a blogger, you name it, consultant. I do a lot of stuff. Who are my favorite YouTubers? I'm a huge fan of MKBHD. Love that guy. I love barbecue, so Mad Scientist Barbecue is another one of my favorite YouTubers. Just love the quality of his stuff and just the joy that he infuses in his videos. I'm a geek, and so as a geek, I love watching the Now Red channel, Now Blue channel. Now's just a great dude. Of the tech YouTubers, there are a few people that I like to watch. James Q. Quick is another person that has influenced my own YouTube journey, and I love what he teaches and how inspirational he is. Jason Langsdorff is the guy to me when it comes to tech YouTube. It was great to collaborate with him on the Web Dev Challenge. Had a lot of fun with that. You should go check out that episode because it was a lot of fun to film, and hopefully it's something that you enjoy. Jason is one of those people I see doing things that nobody else is doing in the space, and I'm just not only thoroughly educated, but thoroughly entertained. What does it take to be a YouTuber? It doesn't take a lot. There are people who are just using their cell phone and filming video and content that they think is interesting, and other people have full-on setups and production studios like Mr. Beast. What it takes is having something valuable to say, and then having the courage and bravery to say that on camera for the whole world to potentially see. I'm coaching candidates through the process of interviewing at Google. I talk about the fact that there are two types of interview questions that you're likely to encounter. And this so much orange, so much orange. I mean, but it is what it is. Like this is what it is. I gotta live with it. This video is so far back that I wasn't even wearing my Compton hat regularly, which is wild. You can't catch me without my hat nowadays. It's just, man. As you can see, I wasn't about to invest money into something that I didn't know would last past that evening. Shout out to Cyberlink for Power Director. It's important to vet your ideas very quickly and just figure out, like, is this something that you want to do or not? Is this something that resonates with anybody? It doesn't have to be polished, it doesn't have to be great, it just needs to be something that is helpful to somebody. And if you can at least test some things and try it out and figure out if it resonates with anybody, that's enough. As an interviewer, I will get insight into some of the things that you've done in your previous career and get you to elaborate on those details so that I have a sense for how you might perform in similar situations on the job. One of the reasons why I started doing videos like this is because there was such an urgency on my part to share what I thought was information that wasn't getting out about how to do technical interviews. I've found resources like Cracking the Coding Interview by Gail Lakeman McDowell to be super helpful, and Programming Interviews Exposed. So I was able to find some of the information that I needed, but not everything. I felt like there were other things that I could contribute to the conversation around technical interviewing and behavioral interviewing prep that really just needed to be shouted from the rooftops. And I just didn't feel like I was saying that enough, which is why I decided to make my first video about this. And I think ever since then, I've been focused largely on technical interview prep. Which of my videos are my favorite? My first favorite is actually not my video. I was involved very much, but I would say my favorite YouTube video featuring me would be the BuzzFeed video.
Fear is the chief export of Compton. It's what everybody knows Compton for. The fear of drugs, fear of gang violence, fear of being cut down in the streets, fear of black people, fear of black men. These are all things that are associated with Compton.
So how did the BuzzFeed happen? Kendall Bird from BuzzFeed was working on the software engineering team. She reached out to me because she had recommended me for a video that BuzzFeed wanted to do for Black History Month. And I remember her reaching out and saying that she'd seen that first video that I posted. And at that time, I didn't know what to think because I really didn't know that much about BuzzFeed. And I was low-key scared. I took a risk and went to BuzzFeed Studios and just did a day of filming with them. It was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. This was like the first time where I really got some insight behind the scene on like how the pros do YouTube videos.
I remember being approached by Google. There was a recruiter on campus that handed me a pamphlet and wanted me to apply for an internship. And I remember looking at the pamphlet like, y'all don't want me. Y'all don't want no black man from Compton, former foster kid, working at Google. So I threw that application away.
I'm always talking to like the 19-year-old version of myself. I'm always like speaking to that person. One thing that I'd recommend is just figure out who that ideal person is that you think your content resonates with, and just be super focused on inspiring them and helping them and encouraging them. I think if you do that, it just adds a lot of focus and cuts out a lot of noise, especially when people who aren't in your audience begin to talk to you and provide feedback, because sometimes they're gonna say things that like maybe are well-intentioned but aren't gonna be helpful for you. I've gotten my share of ugly comments, but I'm able to screen that out because I know that they're not the people that I'm trying to talk to. My next favorite video is a weird one, but it's the only, okay. I have a music video that I did, and it was a video that I filmed as things were thawing out from the pandemic. I missed going into the office, so I decided to film this little music video, and yeah. Just before the pandemic started in earnest, like in early 2020, I had bought a Canon EOS R camera, and it would just come out, and I was so excited to put it through its paces and to do a bunch of filming. And then of course, the pandemic happened and nobody's going outside. So I basically got stuck with this very expensive webcam that I just used for like taking meetings and stuff. I started to learn about shooting log and about different camera profiles, and just really starting to explore how to use a camera the right way. I learned by doing a lot. Even as a software engineer, I learned by doing and playing around with things. And this is a good opportunity for me to do that. So I learned a lot from this project. When I call these failures, it's because I'm always looking to do better and to excel still more in what I do, because I know that I can do better and I can achieve more, and I just haven't gotten there yet. Part of what makes imposter syndrome is that you are measuring yourself against a better version of yourself. And that can be a good thing, right? To know that you can be better and that you can improve is not a bad thing, and driving towards that is really helpful. I'd say that my least favorite YouTube video is probably the Microsoft Flight Simulator one. Yeah. I think my actual least favorite is the interview reaction video. I didn't understand the importance of color correction and color grading. After I looked at it, like I filmed the whole video and did all the editing, not realizing that it was all gonna turn out like pink. I left Google not too long ago, so I get to say what I want to say and do what I want to do. I want to show you how these tips that I've been giving you over the years actually show up in a realistic interview situation. So we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a good idea for how to actually use the advice that I've given you around problem solving, around brainstorming, around thinking out loud. So I don't remember why I ended up doing this incorrectly. I think the problem was that I didn't have my camera configured correctly. It's not just the camera, it's also the monitor. The monitor has to be set up correctly, and I think that's what it was. And I was using an external monitor, and I was like, I called myself fixing the color on that, only to realize that like I had it on bedtime mode or something like that, and I think it was cutting out blue light, and so I was like, oh, let me make some adjustments. I don't remember all the details, but it was wild. I learned that I needed to be more attentive to that and figure out ways to like test stuff before I actually press the publish button. The hardest part of making YouTube videos, I think there's really two things. One is just figuring out the idea of what I want to say and how I want to say it. You know, there are different, even within like YouTube, there's different kinds of things that you can do. You can do reaction videos, you can do storytelling, you can do something more cinematic, you can do shorts. So within like doing videos on YouTube isn't just one thing, there's several different things that you can be doing. And for me, it can be hard to figure that out. And you may have wondered, why does this dude have his hat on all the time? Well, if you've ever asked that question, don't worry, I got you. I'm happy to explain why, just stay. Another thing about doing YouTube videos is that especially as a solo content creator, I don't have a hair and makeup department. And so I don't know what was going on with my facial hair at that time. I really should have gotten a haircut and a good shave. So this is a bobblehead of my previous manager before I left Google. So this is bobblehead Dave. Say hi, bobblehead Dave. So my boss would tell me, like, of all the people on the team that would do something that would potentially get them fired, he was worried about me the most, which makes a lot of sense, because being very public and very open and, you know, publishing stuff, there's always the chance that I'm gonna do or say something that gets misunderstood or taken the wrong way, and then boom, I'm out of a job. I've been called to the principal's office once or twice over some stuff that I've put out there.
Nicholas, you asked, do you have any advice for a computer science major who took C++1 and is about to take C++2? Yeah, my advice is go build stuff in C++ outside of the classroom. That's my advice. The number one mistake that y'all students make is that you rely on your classroom education and think that that's going to impress somebody. It does not. What impresses me is what you're able to build based upon what you've learned. So go build an app, go build a game, put that together, put that on GitHub. That's how you take advantage of that education and really show that you've got your stuff.
I love who I am when I'm just taking questions from an audience and responding to the things that they're talking about and saying. Like, I love that. And it is so meaningful to me to be able to connect with my audience directly and to take questions and stuff like that. I think that some of my best advice and tips have come from within the context of authentically answering honestly and candidly the questions that people bring to me, because they are in need of help and they want to grow in wherever position of life they're in. Live streams can be really hard just from a technical perspective, because you have to have a really good internet connection, you need to have a decent camera setup, and you know, there's all the planning and stuff that comes in there. It's not easy, but I enjoy it a lot because I get to interact directly with people instead of it just being a one-way thing. It can be a two-way conversation.
I'm trying to preach to somebody. You ain't got to listen to me, but I'm just trying to tell you what it is, okay?
All right, so what is the plan for the future? Keep making YouTube videos and make them better. I still believe in YouTube as a platform. I still enjoy being able to put together long form video. And so I want to continue making things that resonate with people and the audience. I think there's still more for me to teach. There's still more for me to learn, and thus more for me to share. So I want to keep doing that. If there's ways that you think I can be doing that better, make sure to leave a comment. Let's talk about what were your favorite moments? What are some things that you'd like to see me do more of? I'd love your help in that, and hopefully you've enjoyed this ride as much as I have. With that said, I'm Anthony D. Mays. Peace.